um, someone rudely interrupting us. Let's pick up from where we left off.
Okay. Because I don't care for the drama associated with dating. I shun from it. Although I would welcome to be able to date someone the proper way. I had a friend recently that met a very nice young man, and believe it or not, this was pleasant that I heard from her. He had to slow her down.
Wow.
He had to say, let's just date.
Right.
It's okay. Let's just have ice cream and that's it.
I'm
just talking to you. That's it. I don't have any agenda. Let me pick you up. Let me open the door. Let me date you. It's okay. And I said to myself, that is so profound that he was like, we need to get back to dating. So I part of me is excited about proper dating. The other part of me doesn't want to go through just the nonsense and maybe the riff-raff and shifting through what's maybe the improper dating situation. So that's something that I'm praying about, that I will be approachable and that I will put myself in positions or that God will guide me to places and situations, or even individuals, even if it ends up just a person that I date that ends up being a friend.
Right.
But the experience of positive dating, I'm looking forward to, because there is a little bit of apprehension there, but I do know that I have to be in a position to be found.
Good job. Now, Bishop Monk, and for those who don't know, I'm interviewing my husband, who is also my best friend. We talk about pretty much everything. I don't think there's anything that I have ever been not able to talk to him about. So, Bishop, with you being divorced, talk to us. Let us know. Tell us your business. There's so many people out there want to know your business. They have the opportunity now to know Bishop Monk's business.
Well, I thought that my business was already out there because, I'm kind of transparent,
Right.
But no, Paul said it like this. Paul said, I wish that all men could be like me, as I am, as he said.
Right.
And the reason he said that is because if you're going to do God's work, it's enough just to handle your own self and not to try to handle two people. I tell people all the time, marriage counseling, when the days of stopping off at the chicken house and getting a 2-piece and a pepper and a fry, now you have to call and see if honey wants something too.
You sure right.
But with that being said,
and let me say something right there, honey. Didn't you have an accident trying to go get me some chicken?
I did too. I wrecked my car, told it out, trying to get you some Williams chicken yesterday.
Williams.
Yes.
And I didn't even want any. Just going for you and see if I had just been on my own. I still driving my paid off car now. But anyway, I thank God for the new car.
Amen. Amen.
I got married early, age of 24. My children were born soon after. But the problem with me was that being a young pastor, I started pastoring very early at the age of 25.
Right.
I didn't know how to walk in apostolic order. No one taught me that.
Okay.
And so the church...
Explain, Bishop, what apostolic order is.
Apostolic order would be God first, family, and then church, and then yourself.
Okay.
Last.
Okay.
But I wasn't explained that at an early age.
Okay.
And so the church became more important, not me knowing that it had, than my family.
Right.
Which caused a wedge, and was married for 16 years.
Wow.
And, finally, when things just couldn't be repaired, when I felt like I had threw up my hands and said, "The hell with it," like I say, I'm transparent, so I'm saying what I said. And so I asked God a question riding down the road, and I asked him, I said, "Why? How did this happen?" And God said, "Well, the church is a woman also."
Wow.
And so therefore you had two women all the time.
So you committed adultery, so to speak?
Spiritually, yes.
Wow.
Yes. And a lot of pastors in small churches do.
Wow.
I think even mega churches also, because we lend ourselves to everyone.
Right. Right.
and things associated with the ministry.
Right.
But the struggle for me was as I became single. How do I do this as a pastor? I mean, I don't go anywhere. I mean, yes, I owned a barbershop for many years, and so I didn't really go to any type of gatherings or anything that would associate with me with other people. I just dealt with people in my circle.
Right.
And so how was I going to really meet someone? I mean, you have to actually just walk in out of nowhere.
Right.
And then, even then, do I even trust that? So the struggle was, I understood as a pastor, it is a, what is it? I'm looking for the word I'm looking for. It is a blemish on you to be a single pastor.
Okay, good job.
All of a sudden, the church starts to take on a women's demeanor. It's like everyone is vying. Not about how you look, not about what you have. Right. It's just the position.
Exactly, the power.
The power of being a pastor.
Right.
And I dealt with some of that. And so I had to finally come out of that struggle and say, okay, I have to do something.
So let me ask you this, Bishop. Was it hard to deal with that? You know, now let's separate the two. Okay, now we're going to separate the two. We're going to separate the spiritual man versus the natural man. Naturally, how did it make you feel that all of the women were quote unquote gawking, pulling, desiring you?
Well, I don't know about if they were desiring and gawking, but I will say this here. I am a man who's used to fortune, fame, if you want to call that. Okay. I've always been somebody as far as name-wise. I tell people all the time that being a pastor didn't make me be who I am. Right. I was already somebody before. I was the person in junior high, one knew in high school, college, whatever it was. So I was used to people pulling at me. Okay. But I believe that the part that started to wear on me was when I didn't react the way that some thought I should. Right. They started to leave the church, or badmouth the ministry, or badmouth me. Now that's the part that I had a hard time with. But the great part of it was I can easily say is that I stood the test, and because preaching God's word unadulterated meant more to me than who I'm going to take out Friday night, and who I'm going to go see, this and that, this and that. But I believe the struggle with any pastor that gets a divorce is trying to still keep that status of being family oriented, making people feel like that you still can keep it together, you know, because you understand what you're saying is I can keep this church together, but I can keep my home together. Right. You know, but a lot of people don't understand is that the church is a lot of the reason why a lot of pastors struggle. Wow. Because number one, with your finances, with your time, with your devotion, and your sacrifice, and you have to make it your business to try and balance that. And I would say to any young pastor, work on that now. See, I can do it now because I'm old enough and I'm more seasoned now. I'm 19 years in pastoring now. To God be the glory. But to be 4 or 5 years into it and trying to hold out a family and a church, because a church is a family also. That's the second most time you'll spend in the place is at your church. And so you have to find that delicate balance there. Now, one thing I can say with you and I, because you are church-oriented already, see, and you're older and you already have seen what I do, it's easy for you to attach yourself as to where my first marriage, I wasn't a pastor at first. So I went into something different with my first marriage. And so it's always easier, I think, on a lot of pastors in their second marriage, and it's sad to say, but I believe someone needs to set up, and maybe I need to do it myself, a retreat that's held every month for pastors of all races and creed to come in and learn how to pastor with the family. Right, that would be real good. The fact of it is that it's hard. It really is. And but my struggle has never been women per se. In other words, everything that act like that it may like me, I don't have to like it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's not a big struggle for me. Maybe for some other pastors, but never have been for me because I'm a disciplinarian. If I tell myself I can do something, believe me, I'm gonna do it.
Right.
So,
go ahead.
So the question and that's good that young pastors with families need to know, or even young pastors that are about to get married need to know, is that it is possible. It is possible to balance it. It is possible to still date your wife.
Yes.
And separate that, and then and then be a pastor and lead a congregation and do all of those things. It is possible. You don't have to necessarily sacrifice one for the other. It can be done, and not to feel guilty about it.
Right, and like I say, you become wise over time. I mean, we understand Jesus is twofold, a life as being God and man. So he was wise at an early age, but in our sense of growing up, we have to bump our heads a few times before we understand. But I think where we mess up at is that we as pastors who are seasoned, we don't do a lot of reaching back and getting the young pastor. And that's why I do conference and I do deal with the young pastors who are attached to me. That I cover them as their covering. And these are things that we do talk about. As far as relationship is concerned, because some are single and some are may have some struggles in their marriage or whatever situation it is. But I definitely think it's something that is needed, and I thank God that I made it out with a few scratches that I did and married such a beautiful young lady as yourself.
Awesome.
I had to put that in so that I wanted.
A good plug.
Okay, well, hold on just a second. I'm going to get you to hold that thought as we take a 2-minute break, and we'll come right back, okay? Hold on just a second.